Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so today's video, I'm actually really excited about it. I think it's been on my radar for a long time, but I kind of wanted to get like the hair videos out first because I know people was y'all wanted those. But this one, y'all, this one is like, it hits the soul. Okay, today we are talking about soul care. Now, I've seen so many self-care videos on YouTube, but nobody actually talks about like the soul, like your soul, your inner being. Like, how is your soul? How's your heart? How's your mind? How's your will? How's your emotions, right? So that's what I'm gonna be talking about. I'm excited because this is something I talk about on the daily. Okay, so I think like we spend a lot of time talking about our makeup, our hair, and you know, everything external, what you're wearing, and I think that's good, but I don't really think we spend enough time talking about like how we're doing on the inside. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on in the world, and I think soul care is everything. Like in 2020, everybody was talking about self-care, and that's important too. Like, take care of yourself, take care of your, you know, your external, you know, body and figure and all that, but like your inner being, like, sis, when I tell you soul care makes the difference for everything, like, it's a game changer. So I'm gonna be showing you guys my soul care routine, but first let's start with music. What are you listening to? I think your ears is a gate to your soul. So when I say soul in this video, just for reference, I'm talking about your mind, your will, and your emotions. But what are you listening to? Like, are you listening to just trash music which just make you feel so insecure, remind you of how you don't have this Coca-Cola figure, or it makes you feel broke? You know what I mean? Like, what are you listening to? I personally, I think when I started like listening to, first of all, I just love worship music, y'all. Like, but I think like when I started listening to Christian music, like Jesus-centered music, it just changed everything. Like, it recentered my mind, it helped me focus on things that actually matter, and it just opened up my eyes and my heart to just receive more, like more of God's peace, love, kindness, all of that. So, but I think most importantly though, like, it settled me, like it settled me within, you know, because for someone who had anxiety, honestly, you could just be having these thoughts and you're just like, man. But I'm so happy that I actually like how worship music, Christian contemporary, is like what I listen to. So that's worship music. I love Carrie Job, I love Bethel, Maverick City music. And then I also been listening to like a lot of podcasts, y'all. So usually I was guilty of watching YouTube beauty videos endlessly until I went on a fast. And after the fast, I was like, yo, I really need to change how I spend my free time, right? And so I started listening to like podcasts when I have free time, or like if I'm doing like chores, I would have a podcast playing in the background. So let me tell you what podcasts I've been listening to. I like 30 Minutes with the Perrys, so that's by Jackie Hill Perry and her husband. I also been listening to Pepp Talk by Brenny Lee. If you follow Brenny Lee on YouTube, you know what's good. I've been listening to, let me go on my podcast app because I was on Spotify. So on the podcast app, okay, so on my podcast app, I like to listen to the Grove podcast, which is by Sherry Giglio. Java with Juli. Girl, listen to me. If you have questions about sex, why I said that loud? I think my neighbors heard me. But if you have any questions about sex from like a Christian perspective, listen to Java with Juli, okay? Like, and she's actually a licensed clinical psychologist. So sis be coming with the facts, but also she gives like a godly perspective, which I love. Science and faith, yes. So Java with Juli, like she be going there. I mean, and like people be asking her questions about everything in between. One thing I like about her podcast too, she's so honest. So like she was talking to people about who've been victims of like sexual abuse. Like she was talking to people who have been married, like, and I've said like the struggles of marriage, because listen, plenty people like, I think being a single on the outside is so easy to glamorize marriage, but listen to this. If you feel like you're sick of being single, listen to Juli's podcast and you would maximize your singleness and realize that marriage is not a walk in the park. That's free. So, and then I also be listening to like Small Doses with Amanda Seales. I love Amanda Seales. Some people have a problem with her, but I like her. Like, she says to speak the truth, and I feel like I learn from her, you know what I mean? I don't have to agree with everything for me to listen to the podcast, but like, yeah. But yeah, so that's the podcast that I listen to. So ask yourself, what am I listening to? What am I putting in my soul, in my spirit? And how am I feeding it? Because what you feed grows, what you starve dies. So if you're feeding insecurities, then it's just gonna grow. But if you're feeding yourself with like reassuring messages, like telling yourself who you are and just reminding yourself of who you are and who you are not. Because I think sometimes who we are not is just as important as who we are. Yeah, so that's one. What are you listening to? And then two, are you getting your thoughts out on a piece of paper to a person? I personally prefer to journal, y'all. I like to write my thoughts down just because one, I prefer to get it down on the paper and then discuss with people later, because sometimes, y'all, the way it be coming out might not be the most polished or the most nicest. So to save myself the embarrassment, I just get it down on a piece of paper and then I will like talk to my friend about it. But get it down on a piece of paper, write about it, journal. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. I promise you, you will not regret it. Like the other day, I was reading my journal from like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh my goodness. This was me a couple years ago. I was like, oh my goodness, I think I'm falling in love. And me today reading that, I was like, girl, are you dumb? Like, what? You don't even know this person. So see, journal, because it made me realize how stupid I was. The third thing, what are you reading? I didn't like set out to read a book every month, but that's kind of like how it's been going so far, so I just want to keep it up. So January was Knowing God by J.I Packer, and I mean, everybody recommended this book to me. It was like, Monique, I can't believe you haven't read that yet, sort of thing. And at first, y'all, I tried to read it a couple years ago, but it was so complex. I was like, I need the dictionary for the first page, like. But he's a theologian, so I expect no less. Highly educated people. February, the month of love, and let me tell you, I ran through this book. So it's called God's Design and Why It Matters, Rethinking Sexuality by Juli Slattery, and Dr. Juli Slattery, and she's a clinical psychologist, so I loved her perspective on this. It was so insightful. So get this book. Like, if you have questions about sex, I mean, culture obviously tells us their definition of sexuality or what it should look like or how you should, you know, live sexually, because we're all sexual beings, let's be real. Get this book. I feel like it just paints such a beautiful picture of the design for sex from a biblical perspective, which nobody really talks about today, but that's a whole nother video. Yeah, so those are my books. Those are my physical copy books. And then I've been listening to audiobooks. I always have some audiobook on replay. I mean, I love to listen to them when I'm washing dishes personally and when I'm on the treadmill. The gym is closed, so I'm just washing dishes these days. I feel like reading just makes me so much more peaceful. This is gonna sound really weird, but in certain seasons of your life, an author will be your best friend. Meaning that everything that you're going through, an author would help you to put it into words. So I know for Juli Slattery, her book on redefining sexuality, it was things that I was noticing, but I couldn't, like, I didn't have the words to explain it. And I'm like, yo, books are powerful. So if you don't like physical books, get an audiobook, y'all, because I'm telling you, if you're going through something and you feel like no one understands, there's a book about it out there. you know. So download Audible. They ain't paying me for this, but download a podcast or something and just, you know, seek help in unconventional ways. And that's another thing. Go to therapy. Like, listen, I know when I talk to people how relieved I feel. So yeah. But yeah, so I have like people in my life who I could talk to about anything. And yo, get you someone who you could be gut level honest with, even when it sounds like you're not supposed to be saying it. Like, there are certain things I'll be like, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but this is how I feel. Like, I know this isn't the right thing to say, but this is honestly how I'm feeling, and that's just the God honest truth. And I think like when I could just get it out to someone who I know wouldn't judge me, wouldn't condemn me, it's like, okay, Monique, like, let's work through this, you know, like, let's unpack that. Like, why do you feel like that, you know? So I'm talking a lot, but get someone, like, and if you don't have someone to talk to, write it down. And yeah, write it down and pray for genuine people to come in your life. Because listen, genuine people, when you have someone who's genuine, who don't want you for nothing, is gold. Hold on to them. Hold on to genuine people. So that's basically it, y'all. I feel like I spoke a lot. But this, I think the soul is so important, if not the most important. Like, cool hair, external, all of these things, cool, but listen, if you're not doing good on the inside, then the outside just gonna be a reflection of it. Let's take care of our souls and get connected to God, and get connected to people, because we're not meant to do life alone. So that's what I want for you. I want you to get connected to someone, like, get connected to people, and I hope that y'all find like genuine people. But that's basically it, y'all. I love this I love making videos like this. Like, it's so important. If there's anything that you want me to talk about in detail, let me know. But I just wanted to like give like a blanket video first and then break it down, because people really be struggling. Like, people be suffering in silence and not saying anything. Like, so let's get the conversations going and let's take care of our souls in 2021, okay? Cheers to having free, peaceful, liberating, joyful souls. Amen. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.